It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning and welcome to Wednesday, Year 3, Episode 4. And it's Thursday, Travel and Cruise Industry News Podcast. On this, the 4th day of January, 2024, coming to you from Bedford County, Virginia. A little upsetting right at the moment as the big S word is in the forecast for this weekend. Don't like that. All right, headlines today, folks. Celebrity charging solos more than double. Football game traffic warnings. That comes out of New Orleans. Santorini restricts cruise ships. I actually had this story yesterday, and somehow I missed it. I'm not sure how. Norwegian Star has some itinerary changes. The Ambience is ready to sail on a world voyage, actually. And Margarita at Sea faces a lawsuit. And lots more here at 11 o'clock this morning on Thursday, Travel and Cruise Industry News Podcast. Today, folks, is National Spaghetti Day. We have spaghetti or something in that family at least once a week, and then usually leftovers. This week we had tortellini, and actually had a second meal of tortellini. But National Spaghetti Day, I'm all in favor of that. I like my Italian food, no doubt about it. Amanda's a wonderful Italian cook. So, it's nice to have that here in the house. If you're listening via the podcast, you can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcasts from. All the big guys, iHeartRadio, Podchaser, Stitcher, Pandora, Spotify, TuneIn, any of them. Just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and up pops the Fat Travel Guy. If you are ever listening to a podcast and want to hop over to the video feed to take a look at pictures or clips or interviews for that day's show, there's always a link in the description of the podcast, so you can do just that. All right, guys, pretty exciting day for me today. This afternoon, at least, at 4 o'clock today, I'll be interviewing Vice President of Holland America Cruise Line, Bill Zucker. I'm really looking forward to that. The interview will be on the show tomorrow morning, so that will be early in the show. Tomorrow will be the interview with Vice President Zucker. Been talking some about the first cruise with Chillie group cruise. The first one's going to be February the 5th on the MSC Magnifica out of Miami. 5-day, 4-night cruise. It starts at $259. That's including taxes and port charges. For double occupancy, $328, including taxes and port charges for solos. And then it goes up from there. Obviously, the ocean views, about $100 more. The balconies maybe $200 and change more. Then if you add on the drinks package and all those kind of things, it can, it can add up. But still, the base prices, that's where we start from. $259 double occupancy, $328 solo. That obviously is inside, out the door. I mean, you can book it for that total price. Anyway, call me, text me, message me, however you want to do it. I'll call you back. Make sure I've got your phone number. I'll call you back and we can take care of it. Swam's done. out the door. As most of you know, I'm doing the Epic in Port Canaveral. I'll get off the Epic on the 4th, jump in my car, drive on down to Miami, and get on the boat on the 5th. So, looking forward to that. All right, it's T minus 28, guys. Let's see. I haven't checked it since 4:30 this morning. Let me go over here and check and see if that has changed any during the morning hours. And refreshing the screen right now. And 27. T minus 27 until we get to 5,000. So, in the next couple days, should be there. All right. The top story this morning, folks, and quite frankly, this one really bothered me when I read it. You know, I've been solo for 10 years now, travel solo, and constantly fighting the solo supplements. And I got to the point that I just wouldn't book 100% solo supplement where they were making me pay double. So, I started, in fact, searching it constantly. I don't spend a day that I haven't looked for any kind of break in the solo supplement on any cruise line. Well, even though studies have shown more and more that travelers are looking to take trips on their own, one cruise line has quietly made a shocking move. It appears that Celebrity is this cruise line everybody wants to go on now, including me. But Celebrity is charging more than double the going rate for staterooms for solos. Over the past few years, a growing number of people have opted to travel solo. As a result, several cruise lines have made major strides in their effort to woo those passengers. One of the reasons I travel Norwegian a lot, even though I fuss with Norwegian about their pricing sometimes, most of their ships, and clearly their newer ships, have solo cabins, have solo pricing. They offer you a decent deal. Now, sometimes we'll fuss at them on the high end of it, but still, they do something for solos. Celebrity seems to be taking a different path. Solo cruisers have for years become accustomed to paying a single supplement, which meant they were charged double occupancy rate despite being a staterooms only occupant. While many complained, others nationalized that it was somewhat akin to staying in a hotel where prices do not vary based on single or double occupancy. And by the way, this story, folks, comes from my friends over at Doug Parker's Cruise Radio. It's written by Richard Sims, and I'm using his story, folks. So I just wanted to give credit to that. At any rate, according to two sources close to Celebrity sales department, the move is being made to counter the loss of additional onboard revenue generated by a second guest. In other words, money that would have been spent in the casinos, shops, and restaurants above and beyond the additional cruise fare. That sucks, folks, for solo travelers. And I checked on one, and it was like $3,300 for a double occupancy person. Okay, a solo was $3,800. So I don't know. That's just strange. And by the way, that the $3,300, that was double occupancy. Okay, So that means that each one is paying $1,600. Okay, and then they're charging the solo $3,800, more than 2 times, plus another $500 for being solo. Anyway, I double checked that part of it, and yeah, that's what they're doing. All right, I'll be back with a couple more news stories, guys, after a quick break from one of our network sponsors. All right, the next story, guys, has to do with our friends down in New Orleans. Guests traveling on the Carnival Glory in New Orleans may have more difficult time with traffic near the cruise terminal this coming Sunday, January the 7th. Because of a home football game, Carnival Cruise Line has reached out to guests to alert them to possible traffic challenges and to remind them to be at the terminal on time for the departure. And the story that I had yesterday and somehow missed it, as cruise ship passenger numbers surge, surpassing pre-pandemic levels, European ports find themselves grappling with the profound consequences of these colossal vessels. Transport and Environment reports that the 218 cruise ship operational in Europe in 2022 emitted over 4 times more SOx than all of the continent's cars, underscoring the urgency of addressing the environmental impact. Cities like Barcelona, Venice, Marseille have already implemented measures to tackle the concerns linked to over-tourism and pollution, and now Santorini, renowned for its mesmerizing sunsets and striking volcanic landscape, has strengthened restrictions on cruise companies operating in the waters. Both tourists and locals of the Greek island have raised concern about the cruise industry's effect. With 2 million annual visitors to Santorini, residents lament street congestion and argue that cruise tourists make limited contributions to the local economy. This stance by Santorini reflects a broader movement among the European destinations to strike a balance between tourism and preserving the integrity of the cultural and environmental heritage. I don't know for sure what they're going to do yet, whether it's going to be add a fee on like some have done, limit the number of cruise ships, limit the number of passengers. I mean, a number of places have done a number of things. I'm not sure what Santorini is going to do yet, but they're going to do something. All right. That would be the Norwegian Star. Guests setting sail next month for a 14-night South America, Argentina, and Chile cruise have been alerted that one of the protocols is being slightly shortened. Norwegian Cruise Line emailed guests of the change so they can plan accordingly. The impacted sailing departs on Sunday, February the 4th. That's about a month from now. And 2 small changes have been made to previously planned schedule. On Friday, February the 9th, the ship is calling on Punta Arenas, Chile, from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. That time remains unchanged from the original itinerary, but now cruising Chilean fjords is also listed for the same date. Because there is no time change for the visit to Punta Arenas, the addition to the date is simply clarifying that there will, in fact, be scenic cruising that evening. On February 9th, they will sail at approximately 9:25 p.m. local time in Punta Arenas. So even though the fjord cruising is later in the day, the views should be spectacular. The second itinerary adjustment is to the last day of the cruise, with a port of call in Port Stanley in the Falkland Islands. Originally, that was scheduled from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m., but the visit now is being trimmed by an hour, and Norwegian Star will depart at 3 p.m. Had a couple stories as we've gone along about the Ambassador cruise line and the Ambassador Ambience that went into a dry dock. Ambassador has announced that its cruise ship, the Ambience, is scheduled to resume service on January the 6th after spending much of December in dry dock. A 120-day world cruise is the first sailing scheduled for the required ship. If you recall, there were some people that were saying, is that going to screw up the world cruise? I mean, they had all that money tied up. Well, no, it's not. They're going to actually sail on time. And, hopefully this has taken care of the issues. All right. The final story this morning is about Margaritaville at sea. In a disturbing maritime incident, a West Virginia woman, identified only as Jane Doe, has filed a federal lawsuit against the Classic Cruise Line, alleging that a bartender employed on Margaritaville at sea cruise ship clandestinely entered her cabin in the middle of the night and sexually assaulted her, resulting in her pregnancy and subsequent forced abortion. This marks the second accusation against the same bartender, Hubesh Doki, who pleaded guilty in November to abusive sexual contact related to the assault of Jane Doe's cabin mate. The more severe charge of the sexual abuse was dropped as part of the plea deal. Both victims claimed that Duque misused his position as a bartender to access the room keys while they slept. The lawsuit contends that during the night of shared drinks at the ship's bar, both victims charged the beverages to their cabin number, inadvertently providing crew members access to their shared cabin number and room key. So this lady is taking it out to sue the line, since the gentleman got off with a slap on the wrist for the roommate. So anyway, that's the latest from Margaritaville at sea. All right, let's go over, and that's it for the news today, by the way, folks. Let's go see who's in the chat room fussing at me. Hot Air's with us. Good morning, Hot Air. Mike's here. Hey, Mike. Another solo ripoff. Yep, sure is. Thank goodness for Passion for Cruises, UK and USA. Well, they definitely, they're leaders in the industry as far as promoting solo cruising. Steve's with us down in Kentucky. Hi, Steve. There's Dennis. Hello, Dennis. Missed you the last couple of days. Jenny Murphy is here. Hello. How are you doing today? Very well, thank you. Cindy's with us. Hi, Cindy. Emily's here up in New York. Hey, Em. Dennis says hello to everybody. P&O has fantastic solo staterooms and also with balconies, much better than NCL Solo Studios. I've never sailed on P&O. I would like to do that. I don't know, maybe while I'm in Europe in 25, I can work something out on that. I've never stayed in one of Norwegian's solo cabins. I have stayed in their accessible solo rooms, which are wonderful. Now, I realize the designated solo cabins are not as big. They're small. For a big fat guy, especially a big fat guy in a wheelchair, I couldn't even get in one of those. But at any rate, yeah, I'd try. I'd like to try P&O, and it would be interesting to see what kind of rates they're getting. I mean, I work hard to find decent rates. The little cruise that I got going with MSC is a decent solo situation. Yeah, they charge a little bit more, but it's not bad. Uh, on that one, for instance, if you get loaded, now if you take a double occupancy with the drinks package, with the Wi-Fi, with the onboard credits, um, inside cabin is $509. Solo is $828. Okay, so that's a little better than half. The balconies loaded for double occupancy is $679, and it's $1,100 for the solo balconies loaded. So it's not that bad. Stripped down, $259. Stripped down, that's with taxes and port charges for an inside, $328 for solo. So, I mean, you can find them, but you got to work at it. Celebrity, that's just awful what they're doing. Was the 3,300 staterooms the same one as the stateroom for 38? Yes, it was. I was very careful about checking to make sure I was in the same category and all that. Everything was the same. Often the cheapest double stateroom is not offered to solos. Instead, a more expensive stateroom is offered to solos. Yeah, I know that's one of their tricks too. That's a shame that Punta Arenas is so short a port stay. I was there 12 hours and did the great excursion to Torres de Paine, which was an 11-hour tour. Wow, beautiful scenery. Yeah, that's sad that they're having to do that. One of the reasons, there's no reason given. One of the reasons is they're trying to save on fuel. That seems to be creeping up more and more. Emily says, hello to Dennis. Alex Chance is here. Glad you're with us. Alex, thank you very much. Dennis says he's doing well. Wishing all of you a very happy, healthy new year. Thank you very much, Dennis. Everybody's saying back at you, Dennis. NCL studios are very tiny. It's a mattress and a loo with a bedside sink, toilet in one corner, shower in another. Okay, so now I've forgotten how to do it. I know I slaughtered it yesterday's show, Dennis. Unke. That doesn't seem right. Unke for the rainforest in Puerto Rico. I can't pull that up that quick because I've got it in a different spot. But yeah, that was Unke. Unke. I was close. Unke. All right. Thanks, Dennis, as always. All right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. Again, busy day today. Got that interview this afternoon. He will be my guest tomorrow morning. So I'm really looking forward to this one. It's nice to interview somebody of that stature from one of the cruise lines. So glad to be a part of that. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today. I'll be back same time, same channel tomorrow with more of this silliness. For now, as always, stay safe, stay healthy, think about cruising, and hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas somewhere in the world. You guys have a fantastic day, everybody. See you tomorrow.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry, so if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, chilly chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chilliescruises.